Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Ken Clem. I'm from Spring Hill, Florida. I'd like to welcome you all to our Leaders Skills training call presented by Mentoring for Free. And it's my honor and privilege to introduce you to today's guest speaker. He is a product of the system. He's grown through the Mentoring for Free system, stayed plugged in and close to the fire, and is a perfect example of how your life can change and grow when you stay close to the fire and stay plugged in and be all the way in. He's a good friend of mine from Doylestown, Pennsylvania, Mr. David Haynes.
Hey, Ken. Thank you. Yeah, Michael had asked if I could take over this call while he's away on his cruise in Europe, so I said yes because I like to share with you guys stuff that I guess I've learned in this process. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about today was what is it to be a mentor? What is being a mentor all about? When I first started with Mentoring for Free, I resisted calling myself a mentor because I didn't believe I was one. I myself never had a mentor in my life, and I never had anyone that took me under their wing to guide me. So this whole experience was really new to me. And when I first started the system, I was concerned only with my success. What's in it for me? I wasn't really concerned, I hate to say this, but I wasn't really concerned about helping others because up until that point it was all about me. And so no wonder things for me got off to a very slow start. I didn't get many downloads, and the ones that I did, they didn't get my full attention. I thought they were, if there was any chance that they wouldn't join me in my business, I let them go. I didn't do any follow-ups with them. I didn't call them back. I even deleted people out of my back office, especially if they never answered the phone. I was totally misguided on that because I was coming from a place of lack, and I didn't feel worthy, I guess. I felt that if they didn't have time to talk to me, I didn't have time to talk to them. Basically, I had a huge ego. So, along with that, naturally, I felt the system didn't work. And you hear Michael talk all the time about, in order to have more, you need to become more. You need to be the person that people want to be in business with. So in order to do that, some things have to change within your life. You have to work on yourself. And it wasn't until I really began to believe that and to understand that things got better. So what I wanted to talk about was I came up with sort of a few items, like, a short list of things that I think are really essential in being a good mentor. But before I begin that, I want to clarify that, we always say that being a good mentor is being a good pointer, showing people where to get information or to learn a skill. And that's the basis of it, but there's more to it. There's building the relationship with someone. And that has to go beyond just pointing. Pointing will get you started, but you have to build that know, like, and trust. That's the golden key. And to do that, you need to work on some things within yourself. And the first one that I came up with is insecurity. Insecure people make themselves look better at other people's expense. Insecure people kind of only feel that they only feel important when they belittle others and make themselves feel bigger. On a personal note, my father was like that. He was a perfect example of that. He used to put me down all the time. I loved playing basketball when I was a kid, and my dad hated the sport. So nothing I ever achieved was good enough. I'd get written up in the paper, or I'd make the most valuable player in a tournament or something, and he would say stuff like, I bet the other team were girls or handicapped or something like that. He would say, if I was a real boy, I'd play a man's game like football. So nothing I ever achieved was important to him. And it was like the same things with my grades. Most parents, I would say a majority of the parents, if you get a grade like an A, it's a reason to of joy, but not to him. He was jealous of any success that I had. So high grades were cause for ridicule. And he would say stuff like, you think you're smart because you got an A, live in the real world for a while and you'll find out how dumb you really are. Stupid stuff like that. But insecurity was rampant in my house. It was a point of he continued to belittle me and my brothers and sisters because it made him feel important. And naturally, I found myself doing the same thing. I would put people down. I would judge people because that made me feel better about myself. So that's not a good basis for a relationship. But on the other hand, right, a successful and secure person, they raise people up. They're not threatened by the thought of others becoming more successful or reaching a higher level than they do. And that's probably one of the most important things that I've learned through this process. The second thing is ego. Now, this one's a big one. You can't lift people up to be higher than you if you have to be the center of attention. If you think that others are only there to serve you, you're definitely going to have a hard time building a relationship with people. Ego-driven people are consumed with themselves. And when you're consumed with yourself, you never even consider spending time lifting other people up. Another example of a silly thing that I used to do ego-wise when I first started this stuff is, I feel so ashamed to admit this, but I would only call women who downloaded my ebook because for some reason I felt, I guess I felt superior to them. It's like a joke. It's something that I definitely had to work on. And like I said, I'm pretty ashamed to admit it, but once I dealt with that, once I figured out what I was doing, the funny thing is when I let go of that ego, I found that the women that are on my team are the ones that are really kicking butt and doing better than me. So I'm okay with that now because I let that go. It wasn't an easy thing to do, and there was a lot of arguments with my wife over that because she thought that was just as silly as I did, or I do now. But I really didn't see it. Once I worked on that, things got a lot better. The third point that I wanted to talk about is people's potentials. It's hard enough to see our own potential, let alone the potentials of others. But the key is finding your own. Once you do that, once you find your potential, you can see it in others and help them reach it. But that takes commitment, and it takes a diligence and a genuine desire to focus on others. Once you're able to see a person's gifts, their temperament and their passion, look at their past successes and their joys and the opportunities that they've had, you can then fertilize that seed. You can give them encouragement and water it with more opportunity, because that's when you really see people grow. They'll blossom right before your eyes. But you have to get rid of the insecurities and the egos in order to see that potential in people. And that's one of the reasons why we talk about getting people's whys. You can't really know someone unless you know what it is that they're doing this for. And they can't really know what it is that they're doing this for until they've done their why. So that's why it's a very critical component in how we build a relationship with people and get to know them. And the last part of that, the list that I came up with, is people having the wrong concept of success. True success is knowing your purpose, and it's growing to reach your maximum potential and sowing those seeds to benefit others. Once again, that's a classic case of knowing your why. It's not about the amount of money that you make or the level you reach in your organization. Average people, they scramble around trying to arrive at some kind of destination or acquire more things than their next door neighbor. And then they find when they get there, it's unfulfilling. Because unless we're out there helping others be as successful as us or be more successful than us, any success we have is pretty shallow because it's just things or possessions. So I read a really good quote by a guy named Colin Hightower the other day. And he said, "A true measure of your worth includes all the benefits others have gained from your success." And I think that's just an awesome quote because it's true. If others can gain from your success, then that makes your success worthwhile. So now that we know what we need to work on, how do we start to become a good mentor? Well, like I said earlier, raising people up to a higher level and helping them be successful involves more than just giving them information or teaching them skills. If that were the case, everybody that downloaded our ebooks, they'd be a success as soon as they understood the system. But success doesn't automatically follow knowledge. Remember, we're dealing with people here, so we need to understand some basic concepts that make people tick. That's why we stress, learning the personality colors. They're the key to opening the door into how a person behaves. Understanding those things will help you also realize that not everyone is like you. They're not motivated by what you're motivated by. They don't react like you do. They don't see things like you do. So learning personality colors will go in a long way in, helping you figure out how to help somebody. So another couple of concepts that came to mind as I was thinking about this is everyone needs to feel worthwhile. So you need to develop your skill in making other people feel important. There's no higher compliment you can pay to someone than helping them be useful. When a person doesn't feel good about themselves, they'll never believe they're successful, no matter what they accomplish. But the person that feels worthwhile is a success. And everyone responds to encouragement. If you want to raise another person up, you need to become one of their biggest supporters. People can tell when you don't believe in them. Well, here's another quote for you. It's from Charles Schwab. I know everybody's heard of Charles Schwab. He said, "I have yet to find the man, however exalted his station, who did not do better work or put forth greater effort under the spirit of approval than under the spirit of criticism." So basically it's one of those things, you got to get rid of that ego. You can't criticize people. You need to encourage them. You need to approve of them and the things that they do. And they'll respond to you. And people are naturally motivated. Think about a toddler, right? Soon after they start to walk, they're into everything, right? They have a natural curiosity, and you can't make them sit down. You can't make them sit still. So I believe that, we all have that. We all have that natural motivation. It's just been beaten down, by the lack of support and, bad attitudes and lack of that appreciation. So you need to get people remotivated and excited about growing into their potential. And the last thing is, people buy into a person before they buy into your leadership. People don't follow you just because your cause is good. That's not the way leadership works. People follow you only when they believe you.